We are going to be talking about Mizkif today, and I want to talk about his need to want to prove himself. He really does have this feeling of needing to prove himself. What does he feel like he has to prove? He feel like he's in control. Feel like he's in control of his money. Maybe he wants to prove that he's a person who's good at being in management positions. Maybe he wants to prove that he's good at reacting. Maybe he wants to prove that he is a good competitor, or maybe a good part of the community. Let's move on over to this. Mizkif is a person who knows what exactly is proper to struggle for, to fight for. He knows what is worth being risky for, and that's what he's going to move towards in life. He is a person who is stubborn and who might be deaf towards what people are telling him, and people might have to tell him 14 times or him hear it 14 times for him to finally get it or hear it. And people might become frustrated with that, but Miz is on his own particular path for a particular reason. Why? It's because he's so individualistic and unique that he's not meant to hear what others have to say. And why? It's because if he was, then he would be conditioned by what other people expect of him and want from him. But he knows what's worth fighting for, and that's when he's going to be inspirational. That is when he is going to be empowering. He's a person who does walk to his own beat, and naturally he is a person who is supposed to be the keeper of the keys. Keeper of what keys? The network, OTK network. He's the person who is here to be a natural role model, the leader. He is the natural inspirational person. What kind of leader is he here to be, though? The best way that I can explain it is that he's like a taxi driver and he's looking for people who are ready to be picked up. So that's the kind of um, influencer he is. That's the type of creative role model he is. He is a person who is here to provoke, and it is right in his purpose to be contagious, and he is. There are a lot of different things that I do want to move through in this recording, and you're just going to have to sit tight for this ride with me. Miz does know who is a liar or who is not a liar. So, authentic, you would say? He can smell it. He knows what details are required to get things done, and he might have the tendency to say yes too often to his network, and it could be detrimental to him. So he needs to make sure that when he is jumping into the abysmal, just stepping into something without knowing what it is, he just needs to make sure that it's the proper commitment for him because he needs to be patient. If he is abrupt, or if he's making decisions when he's excited, or if he's making decisions when he's angry or frustrated, that's going to be not good for Miz. And I bet we've witnessed that when he's making decisions in the moment. I bet he resents some of those commitments that he's made. So, Miz does have the tendency to move too quickly sometimes, and sometimes he might end up frustrated or angry when he does move too quickly because he needs to go back and pick up those steps that were missed or redo those steps that were done incorrectly when moving too quickly. Now, when Miz is acting him true self, him true self, when Miz is acting his true self, being this very unique thinker, not necessarily even knowing where his unique thoughts come from when he's called upon. He's also a logical thinker. I know I said all of that sentence pretty weird, but whatever, let's just roll with it. There are a few things that I do want to mention about Miz. So if you want the extras, just move into the hippy dippy stuff with me. So I wanted to mention this. You can't see a pop up show, but what it says is burnout here, an unrealistic pace that begs misfortune. And down a little bit further, it says highly energized feelings that may lead to emotional collapse, uncontrollable feelings, and accompanying emotional outbursts. Do we recognize that in Mizkif? So there's other things that I want to show too. The energy to attract society. Yep, I would say so too. Um, when we're talking about his provoking self, um, there's some other aspects of him that we could talk about too, and that's his melancholic self. He might just seem like blah or melancholic, and he may not express that to you, but he may not. It just might feel like same shit, different day. Why would I even bother? Um, is it even worth struggling for? So, he can be quite melancholic sometimes, but um, that's a big makeup of who he is, and he can be quite the person to spread this contagious message to his network. His network, he knows, means everything to him. He has a tight knit few, and he has many thereafter. And when somebody crosses him, he's given them so many chances. And like I said, if they cross him and they're out, they're gone for good. There's no other chances. And Mizkif, ever since he was little, he's been seen as this wise little being, this wise little body. Before its time, might not be able to see why people can't understand his point of view, or vice versa. Why can't Miz see what other people are seeing? It's because he's wise and beyond his years. And from Miz's point of view, he won't get the recognition that he wants until he's a little bit older. It's a little bit frustrating. But yeah, the type of environment that Miz needs to be in order to be successful is that of a hermit. And that's quite obvious, away from the drama, even though he's a drama queen, away from the noise. He's this natural person doing what is correct for him. He doesn't like being called out. Leave me alone. And the type of people that he needs to have around in order to be successful are people that will allow him to investigate, allow him to feel things out and not talk about it until he has this secure footing beneath him before he tells his network. Because once again, he does know that opportunities are within his network, and that's where he can be contagious and share his message. Okay, once again, let's just synthesize this. Miz is a person who needs to be patient because he might end up not wanting to do the commitments that he committed to, but he might end up just doing them anyways, just because he might need to prove that he's a good guy. He's about the community, he made the commitment. Fact. So he is a person that just has things coming towards him in life, and he just really needs to be patient and make those decisions with his gut, because his body will tell him what is correct for him. His body knows what is safe for him, what is healthy for him, what is correct for him, and how to properly grow his environment, and with that to be recognized over time by his community. That is when he will be recognized for that focused energy that he has. He is a natural born leader, and he is a creative role model here to be inspirational in his thoughts, in his beat that he brings out to the world, and through his logical thinking. He may feel like he has a lot to prove, and with his fame, he may feel like he has even more to prove. But once again, the most important thing about Miz is that he is a person that needs to take his time. And it might frustrate him that he needs to take that time where everybody else might seem instantaneous to him when they make their decisions. But in order to not waste your energy, in order to make sure that decisions are made correctly, patience. All right. Thank you for listening. That is as condensed as I can make it. My name is Katie Lynn. We do these readings when I sit down. Thank you for listening. Come by to see what it costs to have yours done if you want yours done like that or even more in depth. Thank you.